Hi, welcome to the video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Todd Chrisley's sentence and whether or not it acts as a de facto life sentence. So first of all, what is that? We're going to be looking at what that is. Then we're going to take a look at the sentence that Todd actually got. And then we're going to run the numbers. We're going to do our own analysis to answer that question. So what exactly is a de facto life sentence? Let's start there. All right, I'm going to go to Google and look this up, see what we can find out about what this is. So de facto life sentence, and we've got some places here that have got some definitions. Let's see, the first one says it refers to non-life sentences that are so long the sentenced person will likely die or live out a significant majority of their lives before they are released. And this is from restorejustice.org. And this one says a de facto life sentence is any non-life sentence that encompasses such a great amount of time that the convicted individual will likely die. Life imprisonment. So you guys, you get the point. Let's now go back and take a look at what his sentence actually was, though, because we know, for instance, that he didn't really receive a life sentence. But let's go back and take a look at what the Justice Department put out in their press release. Here's a press release that the Justice Department put out back in November. Television personality sentenced to years in federal prison for fraud and tax evasion. Todd and Julie Christie have been sentenced to 12 and 7 years respectively in a federal prison after a jury convicted them of bank and tax fraud offenses following a nearly 3-week jury trial. And there's a lot of information here about what exactly went on. They defrauded community banks with the help of their business partner. They submitted false bank statements, audit statements. So that was how they came to this conclusion of, and here we go down here, Todd Chrisley, 54, of Brentwood, Tennessee, has been sentenced to 12 years in prison to be followed by 3 years of supervised release. So now we know exactly what the time is for him. And it says here, we also see his age. Now we know his age. He is 54 years old. Now, remember, go back to what I just said in the very beginning. What we're looking to understand is whether or not, given his age, which we now know is 54, whether or not, given that age and the fact that he has to serve 12 years, is that pretty much his life sentence? If he stays in there for that long, would he be likely to die in prison? Well, I'm not going to guess. Let's go and take a look at life expectancy in the U.S. for white men. Now, we all know that life expectancy differs depending upon who you are and where you are. So I did start with in the United States because the life expectancy here is going to be different than the life expectancy in some other countries. And I also put in for white men because it's different for people of different races and it's different for men and women. And the first thing that comes up is this information from the World Bank. And there are lots of places here that want to talk about this answer. But 77.28. Now, think about that. Let's do the math. He is 54 now, so it's likely that he will be 66. That is if he serves the full term. But wait 1 second, because I was actually listening to someone speak about this yesterday who was saying there is a chance that he might only have to serve 85% of that term because he might get time for good behavior. So if he's only serving 85% of those 12 years, then you're looking at maybe a little over 10 years. So it could be that he's out when he's 64 versus him being out when he's 66 if he serves the full term. So it says here 77. So it doesn't look like he's coming close to what the average life expectancy is for U.S. Men. And let's go down here. We'll even take a look at what the CDC is saying here about the life expectancy of white men. Oh, and they have a nice vital statistics surveillance report here. And so let's see, if you are 55, yes, male, I guess you have another 25 years or so. And non-Hispanic over here would be a little bit higher. So yeah, so it looks like he's got some time here, you know. All right, let's change the statistics on this, because remember now, if you saw my other video, I mentioned him talking in the sentence report. And let me just come back on camera for a second. Remember, I talked about him having fibromyalgia, anxiety. He's been on medication for this. His doctor had told him to, start walking, decrease your stress. He's been taking his own formula that he's been using in order to help with this. Now, is that all going to be impacted because he's now in prison versus living the lifestyle that he was living before? Is fibromyalgia going to impact his life expectancy? Let me go back to that page, and we're going to actually change up what we were looking at before. And we're going to see if we can put in fibromyalgia. It helps if I spell it right. And we know he doesn't have fibromyalgia. Okay, well, let's see. Fibromyalgia. Okay, first, the good news, and this is what this says from healthgrades.com. First, the good news. Experts say fibromyalgia is not life-threatening, and that fibromyalgia life expectancy is not shorter than normal. There you go. That's healthgrades.com, and they talk about prognosis and life expectancy here. And it tells you how many Americans suffer with this, what you can expect if you have it. And this is the piece that I was just reading to you. First, the good news. Experts say fibromyalgia is not life-threatening, and that life expectancy is not shorter than normal. So we go back to this question of, looking at his sentence in terms of life expectancy, and does it make sense? Does it feel like it's fair and just? And based on the numbers that we've seen here, I don't think that there's anything that suggests that he's living his entire life, the rest of his life in prison. It looks like, he may get out as early as, 10, a little over 10 years, which, would put him at 64. And if he serves the 12, then he may be around 66 when he gets out. And so you're looking at, at least another 10 plus years of life that he has once he gets out. And of course, he's appealed. So, you don't necessarily know how that's going to go. So it doesn't look like he's serving a quote de facto life sentence here, or a virtual life sentence. So I hope that provides you with some information and understanding about how that works, what you need to be looking at, and not just, the general life expectancy, but sort of narrowing it down for the individual, and then maybe even taking into account some specific medical conditions that they have. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.